is nice as an MC and has proven that he can make mega hits too. As where I think he's like the middle lane between those two.
Well, I was about to say Cole kind of fits in the middle, right? Where it's like Kendrick can lean too far
middle
left.
child, no pun intended.
Yeah. Where some people don't really like Pimp a Butterfly and Untitled, and
dude,
then you have the pop stuff, and Cole kind of fits in that middle ground of like he's still kind of old school, like his production is fire. And then his bars are relatable, but they're still lyrical. So
to go back to that, and I'm old enough to want to do it.
Yeah.
That Jay-Z Nas beef, Nas was Kendrick,
right,
and Jay-Z was Drake.
Same thing.
You know what I mean? So it's like Nas gets to talk that shit, like you're pop.
But I would argue Nas. I mean,
44 in a Tybo class, you Tybo ho, whatever. Like. You've become so pop that you've lost grasp of having your pulse on the streets, the culture, whatever.
Well, that's
so Nas could say that, but then again, it's like, all right, well, what's the goal?
Right. Well, Drake's not really in the streets like that, and that's what Future and Metro were coming out and saying.
Right.
They're like, yo, we're not listening to Drake out here.
Right.
Like, sure, maybe, he's got these hits, but no one really cares. Like, if you really in the streets or you really in the game of hip-hop, like, it's like Drake's not even really in that discussion quite as a pure MC.
Sure, but to be fair, though, dude was never going to go down in hip-hop history as being DMX.
I mean, but people put him top 5. I mean, they do, but it is, for me, it's like, it's not quite the same. Right?
Totally. I mean, like, all right, so, I mean... I don't know. It's all now. This is what's so much fun about hip hop.
Yeah,
is because look at us discussing it like it's a sport, like it's NFL.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at their stats, right? So you're looking at it like a basketball player.
Right.
Like okay, he's got good handles, but his 3-pointers suck. You know what I mean? Get him in the paint and he's getting stuffed, or like he can dunk, he can shoot,
right?
Can
like
he dribble?
Okay, he's Steph Curry, but or LeBron,
So there's different strengths there, which is why we love discussing it, I think.
Yeah, but also it's cool to see, I think when you're at that game and you're making all that money, how that changes you, right?
Sure.
So it is kind of cool to be like to reflect on that and be like, okay, Drake was down to make those hits, which I personally am all for. I don't think there's an issue with it.
Right.
But there's been beef there from the jump, and Kendrick kind of saying, "Yeah, you're cool, but I'm goated with my as an MC, as a lyricist, as a and that's why this has gotten to this point."
I have a lot of respect for Kendrick Lamar. I'm admittedly not a super fan.
Yeah.
I can't, and some of it is, to me, not to everyone.
Right.
To me, boring beat selection. Some of these instrumentals you chose, I think J. Cole is guilty of this, and I love Cole. I would never. I don't want to talk shit about Cole.
Right.
I feel more comfortable talking shit about Kendrick.
Yeah, well, we're safe on the East Coast over here.
No, I just mean like even out of just from a love perspective, like some of those instrumentals put me to sleep, so I don't care that you're killing the mic. Like next track.
Well, and then like the Black Panther soundtrack, like that was kind of corny a little bit.
I kind of like some of those.
I mean,
shit.
yeah, but
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, old Kendrick is goated, but there is a time or place. I find that I can't listen to it all the time, and I would find, personally, I haven't liked the new shit he dropped. Really, first couple listens, I didn't really love it. So if I'm gonna be 100 with you, like, I actually think Drake's kind of winning this. If I had to pick a side, I don't know. But at the same time, Kendrick's he's in the discussion, and now we're having these discussions. So I don't know if you can say who's the winner or not.
Of the beef, it's also weird for me because, like, back in the day, it would be like one track started the beef. This track started the beef, and it was either a whole track, diss track, like out of left field, or it was a song that I was doing anyway, and I reserved a whole verse talking shit about you. Like that's basically Jay-Z had the joint on the Blueprint where he called out a lot of people, and Nas, I think, got a whole verse.
Yeah.
And then we slept for. I mean, we talked about is Nas gonna do anything, and then he dropped Stillmatic, and Ether was on it, and it was 4 minutes versus the one verse, which.
Right.
I think in all hip hop beefs, if you go second, you have an advantage.
I do too. I mean, if it's a strong enough hook, if the first guy kind of blows it, if he's not good, then less people are gonna listen to the second verse.
Even if the first guy starts it, you pick the fight.
Yeah. The second is better.
So it's like, I got time to sit in front of my notebook or in the booth,
right,
and just really, really go in and fuck you up good if I want to.
Yeah.
So then let's just, I'm just using this Jay-Z. I'm going back to it on purpose because back then. When Nas dropped Ether, it was almost over. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
You know, and
well, Nas is still out here, which I give him a lot of credit. And you know,
oh, for sure.
Like I don't know, when's the last time Jay-Z dropped anything?
4.
You know
what
I mean?
A hot minute ago. Yeah.
That was like okay. So it's like I like to see these old heads saying we're still in the game. I mean, even Slum Village, like
some of that new Nas shit is hot, dude.
Yeah, man.
There's some tracks on those King's Diseases that were
yeah,
fire.
No, I love that stuff.
And I don't know if you listen to Magic, but it's him and your boy. Is it Hitmaker?
Hit Boy, or is it Alchemist, or
Hit
I don't
Boy.
know. Yeah.
And most of those instrumentals are by him.
Yeah, those are fire. It's
and
cool.
they are like really nice together.
Yeah, I mean,
Magic
I like
is
that
hot.
they're pushing it. I like that you do see the beats changing now. Like, you know, so much has been done. They're using live samples. We see a lot of beat switch ups. You know, things to keep.
It's funny to me that whole genre of hip hop that I would just call like New York sounding has been now labeled boom bap.
I know, it is funny, man, and it's like sometimes I say that and people look at me sideways. Like I'm like, man, I'm good. I mean, I can make some trap stuff, but you know, I like to be like, you know, back in the day when you was really,
like it's very hip hoppy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like the way you were chopping stuff. Like it had little quirks to it. It wasn't just this clean like straight 808 trap drums. Like there was some tweaks.
Anyway, to go back to my original point, the whole reason I brought Nas and Jay-Z back up again was that like, okay, so Ether, that's 2 tracks only. Ether dropped, and yes, Jay-Z had a reply, and he might have said something. He had a little bit to say about it on Blueprint 2 afterwards. I don't think Nas ever even had to retaliate again.
Yeah.
So that's what's so different about like we were saying earlier, we could, you know, because our technology is better, because we're waiting on it, because we're less patient, whatever the reason may be, it's like track. It's like diss. It's like that first diss track not diss track. Metro Boomin, and it was the verse and Future, and Kendrick had the verse.
Was that the first one?
That was, I think, what started it. Really?
No, I think it was the big 3 thing that started with Drake. And,
no, totally. Kendrick got salty because J. Cole was referring to them as the big 3.
Right.
And it was Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. I know, but I mean, first-person shooter is what we're referring to.
Got you. Which
was only J. Cole and Drake on the joint.
He wasn't on it. They were kind of calling him out, like, bro. Right?
I think they were. I think J. Cole was trying to include him.
So that doesn't seem like beef. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think what happened was that after First Person Shooter came out, for whatever reason, Kendrick was like, "Nah, fuck that."
He's like, "It's not the big 3. It's me.
It's big me." Yeah.
Which I fuck with, man. It is funny too, because it's like we're the little guys over here, and it's like when you see people at the top of the game fighting like this, it's really kind of funny. It's like you guys are good. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you acting like little kids right now when you're like. When you see people real petty and just playing the game up there,
it's like pro ball. You watch pro NFL play. It's like, oh no, you lost the Super Bowl, but you're still driving home in your Lambo to your supermodel wife in your mansion.
I don't know what it is, but it is cool to observe, like, and to see it, because not many industries, like, we don't know what conversation, you know, the athletes are having. This is out, bro. This is like us for us to hear, to listen and sit with, and I think that's like,
it's there forever too, unless J. Cole really did pull it. Can you find 7-minute drill? Somebody
he was saying you could pull it up.
Conti, can you find 7-minute drill still on the internet?
I'll check right now.
Because it was a big deal. Then it was a headline that J. Cole took it down.
Right? Is anything ever really gone from the internet?
No way.
You know what I mean?
It can't be.
Which is actually kind of scary when you think about, like, whoa, anything you put out there could probably be tracked.
I mean, because let's say somebody like J. Cole released 7 minutes, which he did. I mean, it'll only take one person to download it to their laptop, and then he just re-release it forever, right?
Yeah, people got it.
Somebody's got it.
And it's going to keep getting dropped, I mean. Is that it?
It's on YouTube.
So it's not gone for. So maybe it's not on Spotify or iTunes, but it's on YouTube, so it's out there.
I mean, he's still making bread on that. You know.
And it's such a hot diss track. Even if you are boys, if me and you make it to the top, and on the low we're boys, but you're Bobby Sasquatch and I'm Greco. Let's take our governments out of this, right?
I mean, that's what we are. Yeah. Okay.
So why can't I just text you and be like, on the low, be like, you know, I love you.
Track?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you could.
And just let it ride. Like, I think he should have let that ride.
I mean, it's also like genius marketing. I mean, we live in the age of like everything has to be like a reality. You have to manipulate things. Marketing is so crucial. Content. So it's like someone had to be scheming on this big picture. There's got to be someone scheming. Is
it part of the conspiracy? Did he bow out and get out of the way so he so he could really put the focus on Drake and Kendrick?
I gotta say, it is a distraction because we're not talking about Diddy, bro.
Yeah.
I heard no Diddy yesterday for the first time in weeks. I was like, oh shit, what happened to this? Everyone was saying it.
After all the sex trafficking and all that came out, even if
he was like, we need a distraction, bro.
I was just gonna say, even if you listen to, I happened to put the Bad Boys theme on a playlist like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now because it's Bad Boy for life. I think Ben Stiller was in the music video with the golf ball. Okay, I just randomly thought about it. And so I threw it on a playlist on my Spotify, and now after all, it sounds different.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, maybe we'll go to the next joint.
Yeah, well, yeah, totally, dude. And it's like,
are you bumping sex trafficking?
Right. I can't listen to this.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, the R. Kelly thing, I mean, shit. I mean, that's just
perfect example.
But like, R. Kelly made dope music, but you really can't listen to it. Do
you want to bump R. Kelly at the stoplight?
You know what I mean? Like homie pulls up on you, like, is that R. Kelly? Like, and I be doing cookouts and stuff.
They're selling Girl Scout cookies on the corner. No, you can't. You gotta know R. Kelly next.
Yeah. I mean, R. Kelly was bad, but you look at how long Diddy was doing this, man. And
it's not.
And it's like this whole thing, like with LA, I feel like Hollywood. I mean, they be trying to sweep shit. There's some weird stuff going on, and they be trying to sweep it under the rug and move on. And there's some higher ups that are way behind all of it, man. Who knows what's going on?
And then the internet is crazy too. I could get lost on my Instagram feed following music. And so there's all these conspiracy theories out there that I heard one that said he was having these crazy wild sex parties at his house, but then purposefully some of the people that were under the umbrella, the same musical umbrella, were in like newer artists that were going to blow, were purposely invited to these parties so that there's blackmail.
Yeah, totally, bro.
So it's like, oh, you want your masters back?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we're going to release this video. Yeah. No, I think that was a big part of it, man. I think, we'll sign you or come to this party and then you got no choice but to sign me. Like, who knows? But
so it's like, Prince educated all of the music industry,
extortion.
30 years ago?
Right.
And he was like, you were going to become a musician. Learn about the business of music. Learn about intellectual property.
It's dark.
And so then, I mean, the powers that be, they still got all the money and the power. They're like, oh yeah, okay. Well, you know what you're supposed to do, but I got a video of you at Diddy's.
Yeah. Well, it's like, man, nothing is as it seems, and I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are probably trapped in that game, or like, on paper you think you want it, but there's a lot of strings attached. There's a lot of responsibilities, and now it's just not it's not safe. It's not just reputation is so important, just putting yourself out there.
Right.
And it's just wild when you step back and you see all this stuff going on. And this is the tip of the iceberg. You have to know. You have to know. I mean,
totally.
I watched that Nickelodeon thing, man. It's
did you? I heard about it.
Yeah, dude. It's just kind of like, wow, how much
Amanda
is going
Bynes
on?
and all that?
I didn't get all the way through it, but with Drake and from Drake and Josh and all that stuff, it's like we had no idea what was going on.
Dude, and then obviously we've known there is and can be a darker side to entertainment.
Right.
I mean, I watched the Bill Cosby documentary.
Oh, man.
And it's like, and of course, we don't even have to mention Epstein. It's just like...
Well, just to circle it back, because we could talk about this forever, but I do feel like, Kendrick's kind of almost calling out Drake for being a little sus.
So how do we bring this home? So, all right. Eli votes Drake.
I mean, whoa, don't speak on my behalf, bro. Don't speak on my behalf. I will say
we're gonna end it like Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, well,
2 thumbs up. I
mean, it's like, here's the thing, man. It's not, when you talk about Nas and Jay-Z, I don't have a side. When you talk about Biggie and Tupac, I will say I'm Biggie, but I respect both of them. And for me, this is like, I wasn't even over here in my mind like, oh, Kendrick or Drake. Like, that wasn't even a beef that even existed in my mind until recently. So
that's a good point.
They're in completely different
what's
places.
Cool, I'll say this. It's so relevant, and that I feel old enough to be beyond it, to where I really don't care.
You gotta pick. You put me on the spot.
Kendrick or Drake?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, back in the day, I was a Nas head.
Yeah,
but I love Jay-Z so much now. I might love his.
I mean, I think I would go Nas. I mean, I have Illmatic, on vinyl. It's fucking incredible.
I love Jay-Z's music so much. I mean, I have so much of it, so that now it's cool.
I mean, I read Jay-Z's
book, to look back
bro.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lyricist.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So, Drake or Kendrick, as far as the whole beef is concerned.
Okay, we don't have to go discography. I think that's too big. Let's just go
just
the beef.
I don't even want to weigh in.
You got to, bro. We gotta wrap this up.
All right, we're gonna give it to Drake.
We're giving it to Drake.
Sorry, Kendrick.
Let's do it. We're standing on it. We're standing on it. I like that.
No, it's gonna piss a lot of people off. We'll do it for nothing.
Well, no, here's the thing, though. I fucking love Kendrick. I would love to work with Kendrick. You know what I mean? I'm not out here.
No.
But I will say.
I'll say this: Kendrick bars
are better.
Kendrick bars. Drake's whole diss tracks on a whole, all of them.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Drake.
Yeah.
Just because even if we're just playing the instrumentals, I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Well, I'm not always just listening to the words.
I didn't love the Euphoria, the first half of the Euphoria instrumental. I wasn't in love with it.
Right.
So then for me, I was like, this is it?
Yeah, his sound. I mean, I know people on his camp. Yeah, his sound is like, he's going for like more. Almost artsy, like
but not
spacey.
During a battle. I want
battle. Like, give me some. Yeah, totally.
It's supposed to sound like "Get Rich or Die Trying." That beat. What up, blood? What up? I'm giving all these MCs now. Everyone's gonna do their next diss track. They're gonna pick that instrumental. I'm just saying it's supposed to be like heavy drums and. Well, I mean, snares that are distorting.
I mean, Drake shit with heavy kick snare. I mean, more simple. So in a way, it is making us simpletons because we're over here. You know what I mean? But I think that's been Drake's sauce though, man. Simple is better. Simple is more digestible sometimes.
Some people are gonna eat us up for saying it, but I mean, like, okay, don't serve me up a fillet. Don't serve me up a MasterChef dish when we're dissing.
Right.
I mean, we're gonna go to a 5-star restaurant to talk shit to each other?
Right.
No.
Give me some fried chicken and some green beans or something.
Yeah.
Let me digest it.
It's not like we're gonna. How are we beefing? We're gonna play each other in croquet, or are we gonna MMA fight?
Right.
And so I don't know. Some of the music doesn't match the vibe of the disc, but that's a wrap.
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in for HOTC podcast.
The heartbeat.
The heartbeat. No,
all things music.
All things music. The heartbeat. All things music. We're gonna be back next week. We got a bunch more episodes in store for you guys.
I think eventually, maybe if not next week, but we'll bring a special guest on.
Yeah, totally.
Play some live. Well, maybe live. We'll share some local music.
Keep tuning in, y'all.
All right. Thanks.